let's talk about G5. Before we go any further, I want to say that this video contains a few spoilers for the upcoming movie, and my own speculation from what we have been given thus far.
No spoilers!
So I just watched the trailer for My Little Pony G5, and I have many thoughts. Some positive, some concerns, and some hopes for what may come. First, the trailer. Overall, I thought it looked great. For starters, the animation is wonderful. I was really impressed by the environments and character models specifically. Going in, I was concerned that the character models were not going to be very expressive, similar to how G4 was lacking in expression in the early days of Season 1. Compare this...
I'm home all alone tonight. You and Applejack should totally sleep over. We'll have a slumber party. I've always wanted one of those.
to this.
Ah! A strategy meeting! What is the danger this time? A rampaging beast? Evil spell? Friendship problem?
We're ready to do whatever we can.
Okay, that may be a little bit of an unfair example, but even if you compare this scene from Season 1 to an everyday conversation in later seasons, Twilight starts to look a little bit lifeless if you ask me. G5, on the other hand, cleverly titled A New Generation, seems to have this down. I also want to highlight the environments real quick and analyze them a bit. I really appreciate the effort that was put into making the different homes for each of the different pony races have their own aesthetic feel. With a small town feeling for the Earth ponies, beautiful yet somehow depressing forest for the unicorns, and a big city for the Pegasi. Speaking of which, Cloudsdale is no longer a thing to my knowledge, and all of the Pegasi have made their home in Zephyr Heights, which, according to this map, is actually Canterlot. More on that when I discuss my concerns. I was really surprised by the appearance of Zephyr Heights, given it's still marked on this map with the Canterlot Castle, yet looks like this! There's a lot to talk about with this city, but if I did, I would end up spending an entire video on this one location. So, lightning round. No castle on Sunny's map. Culture is probably the equivalent of stuck-up Canterlot unicorns. Z-Mobile! What looks like a cafe, and Pony. Just a random sign that says Pony. Isn't that like the equivalent of us having a random sign that just says human? You gotta wonder what kind of service they offer.
Welcome to Cannibal Cafe. May I take your order?
Can I get a Earth Pony on rye with a side of Pegasus wings?
And what would you like to drink, sir?
Unicorn blood with a hint of eyeball juice would be lovely.
Would you like a straw?
Is it carved from a unicorn horn?
Of course!
Yes, please. Oh, and can I also get one of those little umbrellas that sit in your drink and make you feel all fancy? Thanks. What? You try to explain that thing. The next topic I want to quickly go over is the characters, which is a little bit difficult given the fact that we actually don't have much information on them, but there are a few things worth mentioning. Let's start with Sunny Starscout, our main protagonist. I'm having a hard time putting into words exactly what I think her character is going to be, but the best way I can think to describe her is Judy Hopps. She just reminds me a lot of her. It may be the high level of confidence and eagerness to make friends. Even their voices are kind of similar.
I don't play. I win.
Big talk for a little pony.
I think you'll find I'm average height.
Tell me you don't see the similarities in these two. While I'm playing this clip, now is probably as good a time as any to ask if anyone seriously believes that's a real horn. He's even got a close-up look at it. All you have to do is look up like 2 inches, you idiot! Next I want to take a look at Izzy. Like Sunny, she's eager to make friends, although she shows up to the Earth ponies seemingly unaware of the fact that unicorns and Earth ponies don't get along, which I'm not sure how she missed that. She even thinks every pony's just playing hide and seek as they all run away. I found it odd that she didn't know the relations between the unicorns and the Earth ponies, yet did know to stay away from the Pegasi. And we can see she disguised her friends as unicorns, so she should know that the unicorns don't get along with Earth ponies. I am so confused at this point. Maybe it'll be explained in the movie. I don't know. Hopefully. Now on to Princess Zip. I only really have one comment on her. Why does she sound like she's being voiced by 2 different people here?
Oh, a unicorn and an earth pony?
Okay, well this day just got a whole lot more interesting.
That's it. Moving on to her sister. Meet Rarity 2.0, Pip.
Make
I love makeovers.
Gorgeous!
I only have 3 things to mention about her. One is, I hope she doesn't become the two-dimensional character that we all praise Rarity for not being. 2, I hope what I said about her being Rarity 2.0 remains a joke, and she ends up being her own character. And 3, I want to point out her unique wings. Other fans have already pointed this out and speculated as to why they are different from any wings we've seen before. So, I actually wanted to see if the wings were exclusive to Pip alone. So I looked at the other Pegasi in the background, in the foreground, everywhere, and I couldn't find a single one with cloud-like wings. Fans have suggested that the wings may be artificial, and so Pip was given them because she may have had some kind of handicap that prevented her from flying. But we know that the Pegasi have lost their ability to fly, and anything we see with the royal family is being done with wires. So she wouldn't need treatment for her wings in the first place if she was going to fake it. Unless, of course, her wings couldn't even unfold or were so small like Scootaloo's. In that case, I could see her being given artificial wings. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen this concept used in Equestria. Now on to the character with the coolest name ever! Hitch Trailblazer.
Thank you.
Man, why couldn't I be given a name that cool? Imagine roll calls with this guy. Fredrickson. Miller. Jones. Trailblazer! There's something interesting I've noticed that I would like to point out. Hitch is a sheriff who is voiced by James Marsden, who also played a sheriff in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I gotta wonder, was being a sheriff this guy's dream job or something? Because that would be interesting. As for his personality, he seems a lot like the Season 1 to 2 version of Rainbow Dash. The episode Mysterious Ne'er-do-well comes to mind, what with his lack of humility and job of keeping every pony safe.
Gotcha! Your son is safe now, ma'am.
This isn't my kid!
You're welcome!
Also, can I just ask, what is this movie's obsession with small critters? There are so many of them! They gotta be significant somehow, but I'm not sure exactly.
Buy our toys!
I guess selling pony plushies wasn't enough. Now that we've gotten the positives out of the way, time to address some concerns I have. The main one is the fact that the 3 pony races have somehow become divided. Why is this significant? Well, look back at Friendship is Magic for a bit and see how Equestria started out. Before the founding of Equestria, the 3 tribes didn't get along well, to the point where Wendigos appeared, which I've noticed are strangely lacking from Gen 5. They then put aside their differences and came together in friendship and founded Equestria, as a place where all of ponykind could live together in harmony. Now, fast forward to the final moment in the show. By this time, the main 6 have formed allies with the neighboring kingdoms, brought in races from said other kingdoms, and tackled the topic of racism again, but this time expanding beyond ponies and opened a school to spread the magic of friendship throughout Equestria and beyond. All of this was done really, really, really well, and we were given probably the best ending that we could have possibly asked for. Now let's go back to G5, where somehow we went from every creature living in harmony to not only no creatures other than ponies in sight, but somehow, not only has all of Twilight and her friends' work been undone, but we've gone so far back that this is beyond how the 3 tribes treated each other before Equestria's founding. At least there, they were willing to tolerate each other since they relied on one another to survive. Here, they see each other as monsters. There's even a Jaws poster in the background that says, "Horns." Which, as hilarious as that is actually related to another concern I have that we'll get to in a minute. First, I want to wrap up this point. I feel as though a rug has been pulled out from under me. Again, we were given one of the greatest endings to anything I have ever seen, and now it's all being undone. It's like having the ingredients for a cake, then someone was nice enough to make them into a cake for you. But then, once it's done, rips the cake from your hands and gives you the ingredients, but without the flour. Friendship is Magic already did a fantastic job at tackling racism. We don't need to undo everything Twilight did just so we can do it all again. If this movie and upcoming TV series happens to be worse than Friendship is Magic, it's going to make this look a lot like Episode 7 of Star Wars being a repeat of Episode 4. My next concern is about the pop culture references. Now, G4 was no stranger to making references to every possible thing they could think of, from Back to the Future, to Metal Gear, to Dr. Seuss of all things. However, these references were few and far between, and not given to us every 5 seconds. Already we have horns, Harry Trotter, Z Heights, Just Prance, and Cantor Logic? I feel like that's referencing something. I'm just not sure what. Now, I want to be clear. I am okay with all of these, but the problem is that there are just too many. And keep in mind, this is from the trailer and a single teaser image alone. One of the things that makes fantasy stories great is that they're an escape from our world and an adventure into a new place unlike anything we've seen before. But if you just bombard the audience with pop culture references, it starts to no longer look like a new and interesting world, and instead is just a parody of our world. It also doesn't take long for these jokes to get old, even annoying at times. And sometimes when it's done too often, it can come off as lazy writing. Fans have always loved Equestria for being its own unique world, a place where every bit of new lore and world building was exciting and interesting. And now, it's just starting to look like a parody of our world. And again, I am all for these references. I loved the references done in G4, but because they were spaced out, it made each one special. Here, we're not getting that. If it's going to be a constant thing throughout the entire movie, it's going to get real old real fast. Speaking of world building, throwing in an element of magic into fantasy stories very often leads to extremely interesting scenarios. It was yet another thing I loved about G4. Every little thing runs on magic. From the weather to the machines to the many fantasy creatures throughout the series. The world breathes magic. But in G5, Equestria has lost all of its magic, and suddenly it's looking even more like our world. Judging by the trailer, however, it does seem like magic will eventually return at some point in the movie. Same thing for Pegasus Flight. We see in the trailer for about half a second the Pegasi are all flying, and their wings have a magic aura around them. I just hope this is a permanent thing and not a temporary one. All in all, I am excited for this movie, and I hope it does well. I'll likely make a positive review video on it sharing my thoughts. But if it's bad,
I will make a review unleashing all of my bad rage.
So subscribe for that, and let me know your thoughts of the trailer. Are you excited? Dreading it? Join the discussion in the comments. Until next time, this is Star Strike signing out, and I will see you all next time.
You may now cheer.